Stop freezing off your skin tags. You are ripping the fire alarm off the wall while a deadly metabolic wildfire rages inside you. Watch until the end to discover the 2-ingredient kitchen cure that permanently erases them, and the terrifying biological truth that will save your life. Imagine standing under the harsh, unforgiving fluorescent lights of your bathroom, staring into the mirror as your fingers trace the delicate skin of your neck. You gently pull at your collar, and your heart sinks. There they are, again. Those tiny, fleshy invaders scattered across your skin, mocking you. You remember the sharp, sickening sting of liquid nitrogen. You remember the sterile, unsettling smell of your own flesh burning under a dermatologist's laser. You paid hundreds, perhaps thousands of dollars. You endured the pain. You waited for the scabs to heal. And you believed you had finally bought back your smooth skin. Yet, here you are, a few fleeting months later, staring at a brand new cluster sprouting in your armpits, on your eyelids, or under your breasts. What if I told you that this endless cycle of snipping, freezing, and burning is not just a spectacular waste of your hard-earned money, but a dangerous illusion designed to keep you blind to a silent, terrifying alarm ringing deep inside your cells? Welcome to Canada Senior Health Guide 04. If you are ready to stop treating the surface and start uncovering the hidden truths of your body, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel right now. Your support is the vital fuel that motivates us to keep creating these profound health revelations for you. You are not alone in this relentless cycle of exasperation and despair. Over my 3 decades in clinical practice, I have sat quietly across from countless patients who feel utterly defeated by this exact, agonizing scenario. I will never forget Margaret. She was a 52-year-old teacher who collapsed into the chair in my office, her face buried in her hands, weeping with sheer frustration. Margaret had convinced herself that she was cursed with fundamentally bad skin, or worse, harboring a dark, irrational fear that she was somehow unclean, despite her meticulous daily hygiene. She had drained her savings account, grinding down the polished floors of high-end dermatology clinics, purchasing exorbitant, useless topical creams, and enduring barbaric snipping procedures. Yet, every single 6 months, she was right back in that clinical chair, trapped in an exhausting, emotionally bankrupting loop of medical whack-a-mole. The psychological toll was incredibly heavy. She spent the sweltering heat of summer suffocating under thick silk scarves, desperately trying to hide her neck from the world. For years, the standard, sterilized medical narrative has spoon-fed you a comforting but destructive lie. You have been told that these are merely benign cosmetic nuisances, an inevitable, harmless byproduct of aging, the simple result of clothing friction, or just the unfortunate way you were built. You are instructed to just pay the doctor, cut them off, and move on. But deep down in your gut, you know the truth. You know that trying to clear a field of invasive weeds by merely snipping off their tops is a fool's errand. As long as the toxic root remains violently buried in the soil, the weed will inevitably, ruthlessly return. I deeply understand your impatience and your silent suffering. I know you want these unsightly tags eradicated and you want them gone yesterday. You want to look in the mirror and recognize the smooth, unblemished skin of your youth, free from the constant physical reminder of these fleshy outgrowths. Because I understand this pain, I'm going to make you a very specific, unbreakable promise today. Before we finish our time together, I'm going to hand you an incredibly cheap, highly potent, and entirely natural topical protocol that you can mix together right now using just 2 ingredients you likely already have sitting in your kitchen or medicine cabinet: raw garlic and povidone iodine. I guarantee you with absolute certainty that if applied correctly, This simple, ancient mixture will safely and effectively dry up your current skin tag, forcing it to fall right off and saving you yet another miserable trip to the clinic. However, I refuse to stop there. Handing you a quick, superficial fix without bravely confronting the dark, underlying physiological storm that created it would be a severe disservice to your life. I will give you the formula to clear the surface, but first, I need you to brace yourself. We are about to take a journey far beyond the mirror, deep into the hidden, malfunctioning engine of your very existence. To truly understand this hidden, malfunctioning engine, we must peel back the layers of your anatomy and look directly at a chemical messenger that is quietly suffocating your cells. Insulin. For decades, you have been conditioned to associate insulin solely with diabetes, viewing it as a simple traffic cop that directs sugar out of your bloodstream and into your tissues. But in my clinic, looking at the exhausted faces of patients just like Margaret, I have seen the devastating reality of what insulin truly is. It is the master builder of your body, an aggressive anabolic hormone whose primary, relentless directive is to command things to grow. When you consume a modern diet saturated with hidden, refined carbohydrates, sugars, and constant snacks, you are forcing your pancreas to pump out massive, unnatural surges of insulin all day long. Over time, your overwhelmed cells become deaf to its call, a condition clinically known as insulin resistance. Your body panics, producing even more insulin to force the sugar into the stubborn cells. This is where the tragedy of your skin begins. As this thick, heavy tide of chronic hyperinsulinemia floods your bloodstream, it binds to specific receptors on your skin cells called insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1. Imagine pouring a highly concentrated, potent fertilizer onto a tiny patch of soil. The reaction is chaotic and uncontrolled. The cells in the folds of your skin, your neck, your armpits, your groin, are suddenly bombarded with an inescapable biochemical command to multiply, divide, and proliferate. A skin tag is not a random mistake of aging, nor is it a simple consequence of a tight collar rubbing against your neck. It is a desperate, visible flare shot into the dark by a drowning metabolism. It is physical proof that your body is trapped in a state of unnatural, hyper-anabolic overdrive. When I finally explained this to Margaret, the silence in my office was deafening. The realization washed over her that her body was not betraying her with bad skin, but was actually trying to warn her. All those years she spent freezing and slicing off the tags, she was merely pulling the fire alarm off the wall while the blaze continued to rage in the basement. Every time you eat a heavily processed meal and spike that insulin, you are feeding the very root system of the fleshy growths you despise. The beauty industry profits massively from keeping your attention fixated on the surface of your skin, selling you expensive serums and lasers to burn away the evidence of your metabolic distress. They want you to believe it is a cosmetic issue, because a cosmetic issue requires a lifetime of purchased cosmetic solutions. But as a clinician, I refuse to let you remain in the dark. A skin tag is your body screaming at you, begging you to pay attention to the biochemical storm raging within. And if we do not silence that storm, the consequences will echo far beyond the bathroom mirror. If this unrelenting surge of insulin is powerful enough to force your skin cells to rapidly mutate and grow outward into physical tags, you must bravely ask yourself, what exactly is it commanding to grow inside the dark, unseen cavities of your body? The transition from a superficial nuisance to a profound systemic threat is where the true gravity of insulin resistance reveals itself. When the engine of your metabolism runs this hot, the overgrowth does not politely limit itself to your epidermis. The same IGF-1 receptors that trigger a skin tag on your eyelid are present on the delicate lining of your blood vessels, inside your colon, and within the tissues of your internal organs. We are talking about an invisible wildfire of cellular proliferation. Medical science has deeply established that this chronic, insulin-driven overgrowth is the silent architect behind some of the most devastating diagnoses of our modern era. In women, this same pathway forces the ovaries to overproduce cysts, leading to the heartbreak and hormonal chaos of polycystic ovary syndrome. In your digestive tract, it accelerates the abnormal growth of tissue, dramatically increasing the risk of colon polyps, precancerous growths that quietly gather strength in the shadows of your intestines. And in your cardiovascular system, the smooth muscle cells lining your arteries are commanded to thicken and stiffen, laying down the rigid foundation for hypertension, arterial plaque, and eventually a catastrophic heart attack or stroke. When you sit in the dermatologist's chair and casually have a skin tag snipped away, you are ignoring the terrifying proximity you share with chronic disease. It is a biological law that cellular multiplication, when pushed into chronic overdrive by high insulin levels, creates the perfect, toxic environment for genetic errors. Cells that divide too rapidly and too often are cells that eventually mutate, which is precisely why severe insulin resistance is now recognized as a massive, primary driver for various forms of cancer. This is not meant to paralyze you with fear, but to jolt you awake with a profound sense of urgency. The fleshy tag on your neck is an incredible, profound gift of foresight. It is your body generously pulling back the curtain on your internal biochemistry, giving you a visible, early warning sign before the invisible damage becomes irreversible. It is a plea for mercy from your exhausted organs. To ignore it, to simply cover it with a silk scarf or burn it off with liquid nitrogen, is to turn your back on the most critical health intervention of your life. To stop this relentless internal wildfire, we must ruthlessly starve the overgrowth at its very source by fundamentally changing the way you fuel your existence. We cannot simply medicate our way out of a disease caused by diet and lifestyle, and we certainly cannot heal a hyperactive metabolism by continuing to stoke the flames of insulin. The true, lasting cure requires you to reclaim your metabolic soul, and that begins with the empowering, ancient practice of allowing your body to rest. For decades, you have been falsely instructed to eat 6 small meals a day, to constantly graze to keep your metabolism active. This is a biochemical disaster. Every time you put food into your mouth, especially refined carbohydrates or sugars, you trigger an insulin response. You are keeping the engine running at maximum capacity from the moment you wake until the moment you sleep. The first step in true healing is the integration of therapeutic intermittent fasting. By simply compressing your eating window into 8 hours and allowing your digestive system to rest for 16 hours, you gift your body the profound silence it needs to heal. During those fasting hours, your insulin levels finally plummet. The constant, aggressive command to grow and multiply is abruptly halted. Your cells are suddenly given the space to breathe, to repair themselves, and to initiate a miraculous process called autophagy, where your body literally eats its own dead, damaged, and mutated cells. It is nature's ultimate internal housecleaning. Simultaneously, we must fundamentally reconstruct the building blocks you put on your plate. You must brutally eliminate the toxic, hyper-palatable foods that hijack your hormones. The processed flours, the hidden liquid sugars in your coffee creamers, and the highly inflammatory industrial seed oils that suffocate your cellular mitochondria. Instead, you must anchor your meals with high-quality, single-ingredient foods that signal safety and satiety to your brain. Rich, healthy fats like avocados, wild-caught fish, extra virgin olive oil, and grass-fed butter do not trigger an insulin spike. They provide slow, sustained, deeply nourishing energy that stabilizes your blood sugar. Paired with robust, clean proteins and vast amounts of fibrous, leafy greens, this way of eating transforms your body from a sugar-burning, tag-producing panic machine into a calm, fat-adapted engine of longevity. Margaret did exactly this. She stopped buying the agonizing chemical peels and threw away the expensive, useless creams. She began skipping breakfast, eating her first nourishing meal at noon, and cutting out the evening glasses of wine and processed snacks. Within 3 weeks, the systemic inflammation that bloated her face vanished. Within 2 months, her blood sugar stabilized, her energy skyrocketed, and the persistent dark patches of velvety skin around her neck, a classic hallmark of insulin resistance, began to fade into memory. Most importantly, the terrifying cycle of new skin tags violently erupting across her body simply stopped. The soil had been completely changed, and the invasive weeds could no longer find the nourishment to survive. This is the profound power of treating the root, the deeply emotional victory of finally taking control of your own biological destiny. Now that we have firmly addressed the raging internal storm and stopped the production of any future overgrowth, I am incredibly proud to deliver the specific external promise I made to you at the beginning of our journey. We must clear the battlefield of the lingering remnants of your past metabolic distress. To safely and permanently eradicate the skin tags you currently have, you do not need a laser, and you do not need a scalpel. You need the potent, synergistic power of raw garlic and povidone iodine. This protocol is brilliantly simple, yet biologically devastating to the unwanted tissue. Fresh, raw garlic contains an extraordinary compound called allicin, which is released the moment the clove is crushed. Allicin is a highly aggressive, natural keratolytic agent. It possesses profound antiviral, antibacterial, and tissue-breaking properties. When paired with povidone iodine, a powerful medical antiseptic known for its intense ability to desiccate and dry out cellular structures, you create a highly targeted, localized environment that rapidly starves the skin tag of its remaining blood supply. To execute this, take a single fresh clove of raw garlic and crush it finely into a paste to release the allicin. Add precisely 1 or 2 drops of 10% povidone iodine liquid to the garlic paste and mix it thoroughly. Because this mixture is highly active, you must protect the healthy, normal skin surrounding the tag. Take a cotton swab and apply a thin layer of petroleum jelly or a heavy carrier oil in a tight circle strictly around the base of the skin tag, leaving the tag itself completely exposed. Next, using a toothpick or a clean applicator, carefully dab a small amount of the garlic iodine paste directly onto the skin tag. Cover it tightly with a secure, waterproof medical bandage to seal in the active compounds, and leave it overnight. In the morning, gently remove the bandage, wash the area thoroughly with mild soap and water, and let it breathe. You will repeat this exact process every single night. Within just a few days, you will witness the tag begin to undergo a profound transformation. It will shrink, darken, and shrivel as the moisture and blood supply are aggressively drawn out of the tissue. Usually within 5 to 7 days, the desiccated tag will simply detach and fall away effortlessly, leaving behind smooth, healing skin without the trauma of a surgical cut. You now possess the complete, unvarnished truth. You have the external formula to reclaim the clear, unblemished skin of your youth, and you have the internal blueprint to save your metabolism from the brink of disaster. The mirror is no longer your enemy, but a reflection of a deeply empowered, fully informed human being who refused to settle for surface-level lies. Your body is a miraculous, communicative vessel, and starting today, you finally know how to listen. The journey we have taken together reveals a profound and transformative truth. Your body is constantly communicating with you, and those stubborn skin tags are not random blemishes, but urgent metabolic alarms. For too long, the cosmetic industry has profited from masking the symptoms of chronic hyperinsulinemia, treating the surface while ignoring the invisible wildfire of cellular overgrowth raging within. By recognizing that high insulin levels act as a dangerous fertilizer for your cells, you can stop this hyper-anabolic overdrive at its very source. True healing demands a radical shift from the inside out. It requires reclaiming your metabolic soul through the powerful restorative silence of intermittent fasting and eliminating the toxic, heavily processed carbohydrates that keep your insulin perpetually spiked. When you nourish your body with healthy fats, clean proteins, and whole foods, you literally starve the root system of metabolic disease. Once the internal biochemical storm is calmed, you can confidently address the external remnants using the potent, natural synergy of raw garlic and povidone iodine to safely desiccate and remove existing tags. You are no longer at the mercy of expensive dermatological procedures or surface-level lies. You are now equipped with a comprehensive blueprint to not only restore the clear, youthful appearance of your skin, but to dramatically safeguard your long-term health, vitality, and biological destiny. Your physical symptoms are rarely the enemy. They are desperate, protective messengers trying to save your life. Modern society has conditioned us to seek quick, cosmetic fixes to erase the visible signs of aging or dysfunction. However, true wellness cannot be bought in a jar or surgically removed. It must be earned by respecting your body's internal biochemistry, understanding the deep root causes of disease, and having the courage to radically change how you fuel your existence. Embrace metabolic rest. Stop the habit of constant grazing. Implement a simple 16-8 intermittent fasting routine, eating all your meals within an 8-hour window and fasting for 16 hours, to allow your insulin levels to plummet and your cells to repair. Change your fuel. Ruthlessly eliminate refined carbohydrates, sugary drinks, and inflammatory seed oils from your diet. Build your meals around single-ingredient, nutrient-dense foods, healthy fats like avocado and olive oil, clean proteins, and fibrous greens to keep your blood sugar perfectly stable. Address the surface safely. For existing skin tags, utilize the topical protocol. Protect the healthy skin with petroleum jelly. Apply the crushed raw garlic and 10% povidone iodine paste directly to the tag. Seal it with a bandage overnight and repeat daily until the overgrowth safely detaches. What is one small, specific change you can make to your meals this week to help lower your insulin levels? Please share your thoughts and strategies in the comment section below so our community can learn from your perspective. If you found value in this deep dive into your health, please subscribe to the channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep researching and producing great, life-changing content for you in the future.